We're about to go get some of that good stuff for our fall garden planting. About to get some good old chicken manure compost. Chicken manure and peanut oil. I tell you, it's nice to have friends who have chicken farms. You can get really good stuff to put in your garden and help feed those plants. We've got 4 big scoops on the dump truck here of this chicken litter, compost kind of stuff, and this is what we're going to put out for our fall garden. We're going to put it in one of these plots in the dream garden to start off. The first plot that we're going to plant for our fall garden, we're going to put some in here, rake it out, smooth it out, till it in, and we'll be ready to plant really soon. If this is your first time finding our channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell button below so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. If you're a regular viewer of our channel, it's always good to have you back. So this is what I like to call chicken manure compost. It's basically what they scrape out of the chicken houses. So it's chicken manure. It's also got some broken down peanut hulls in there, which help to kind of condition the soil. And then you see it's also got a lot of feathers in it there too. But this stuff is nice and relatively dry and broken down, and it just spreads well in the garden, tills in really well, and it's just some really good stuff. We've been using this stuff for many years, and it never disappoints. Always good stuff for the garden, especially for some fall crops like we're going to plant, things like cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower that can be fairly heavy feeders. So when we add this stuff, we don't have to supply as much liquid fertilizer or granular fertilizer, because this stuff right here feeds it really well. Another good thing I like about this stuff is that it's free of any bacteria or anything like that. So as I was talking to my buddy, what they do in the chicken houses before they scrape this stuff out is they actually windrow it. So they build it up in little piles there, and they let it go into a heat, and that kills all the Clostridium, the Salmonella, any of that bad bacteria that may be in there, and gets it nice and sterile and clean. And then they go scrape it out and put it in the stack house, and then we can swing by and get us a load, so that we don't have to worry about waiting for an extended period of time before we plant with this stuff. We can put it out in the garden, till it in, and plant pretty soon thereafter. So these 2 plots right here are going to be the first 2 plots I plant as far as fall gardening goes. We've got this one over here that I've already came in and tilled one time. This is where I had the millet tilled up really nicely, and we're going to put this compost or this chicken manure down, till it in one more time, and we'll be ready to plant in just a few days. This guy over here is where I had that sorghum sudan grass that I mowed down, and I watered it in a little bit after I mowed it down because the soil was pretty dry, and I came in here with a tiller and tilled it, and then laid the tarp on it to kill any of those remaining weed seeds. So we'll pull this tarp off, and we'll put some of this good stuff down on this plot as well. Now our old truck here does have a dump bed on it, and we can usually just dump this stuff out, but I don't want to put all this on this plot here, and I'm worried if I raise that dump bed it's all going to come off at one time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up there with a shovel and just push off a little pile, just what I need for this plot here, and then I'll do that with the other plot, and then I'll put the rest in my compost bin. All right, so we got a nice good spread there of our chicken manure on this plot here, but we still need to come in and till this in a little bit. You can see there's a few chunks of stuff in there, and if we don't till it in, our drip tape layer ain't going to work real good with all that chunky stuff in there. So we'll till it in and incorporate it into the soil, and then we'll be good to go. Now if you've watched some of my older videos, you've probably seen me talk about something called the FAD system, and the FAD stands for furrow, amend, and drip. So a lot of times we don't put compost on the entire plot like we did here. We just put it right there in the furrow where we're going to put our drip tape, because we're just wanting to feed those plants. This is a special exception for a couple reasons. So first reason is this is fairly new garden area here, and it needs a little help. So we're going to go ahead and amend and condition that entire plot there to help out with the soil workability and some of the nutrient deficiencies we may have, being it's a new plot. The second thing is, with these fall crops, my rows are really close together. They're like 2 to 3 feet apart, and so I might as well go ahead and compost the whole thing, because my rows are going to be so close together that it really won't matter. So things like cabbage, beets, broccoli, cauliflower, I'm all going to plant those on 3-foot rows. So when your rows are going to be really close together like this, you might as well just do the whole spot. If you're doing something like squash or watermelons or pumpkins, you might want to use that FAD system and just compost where your plants or your seeds are going. Now it's hot as all get out here in the middle of the day like it is now, so instead of tilling this up right now, I'm going to wait till later this afternoon when it cools off a little bit and then work it up. Now for the rest of this stuff, we're going to dump it in our compost bin. That way we can just grab a wheelbarrow and use it as we need it, as we start to develop more plots and plant more stuff for fall. So this is my compost bin here where I dump my compost, and I know it's not ideal for everybody, but it really works good to have a concrete slab there that you put your compost on. Just makes it really easy to grab a shovel and scrape it all up, clean it all out when you need to. Now I didn't pour this concrete pad just for this purpose. My father-in-law that lived here used to have a dog pen here, and so we removed the dog pen and I just built those panels around it to kind of hold everything in. So this works pretty good to hold our compost, so we can come scrape out what we need and put it in the wheelbarrow. Take a look at this poor little pitiful rain gauge right here. This baby is starving. It hasn't seen anything in over a month. It's just thirsty as it can be. So that there should be plenty enough to at least get me through 3 or 4 of those 30 by 35 plots in my dream garden this fall. Now I don't know if I've got enough here for when I get ready to plant onions in November. Probably have to go see my buddy and get another load for those onions, which like this stuff a lot too. Now, I usually like to keep this stuff covered, and you can see I've got a tarp right there. I'll put that tarp on it before any rains come, but we don't have any rains coming anytime soon, so I'll probably leave it off as I'll be using it here in the next few days. But I like to put that tarp on it just to keep it dry. It doesn't get all wet and sticky when it's dry. It's a lot easier to shovel and a lot easier to spread in the garden. So even though it's still blazing hot here, we're about to plant some fall crops. I've got stuff in the greenhouse that's just got to be planted. It's ready to go in the ground. You know, it was 101 degrees here yesterday, but just hoping with that drip tape I can keep it surviving along till it cools off a little bit. Let me know how your fall gardens are coming along. Let me know what you use for a soil amendment. Maybe you have access to some really good compost. We don't really have that here, and if we did find some, it's usually pretty expensive, where this stuff right here doesn't cost me a dime. So let me know how you amend your soil before you plant it. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have about this stuff right here, or how we get our fall garden ready. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.